ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you so much for this opportunity and thanks for this satsanga. So today we are going to discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3 and text number 28. This is the last shloka in the third chapter of third canto. So all these chapters gives a pilot version of Krishna Leela in 10th canto. Very strange and very peculiar. In this third canto, Krishna Leela is given a glimpse of what all happened. No other pastime was specifically explained here. All the other pastimes are explained in a line or two or something. But Krishna Leela alone is nicely explained. Like a pilot version is given. And you all know in Srimad Bhagavatam, the most voluminous canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is 10th canto. 10th canto is it has got something like 4 volumes or something. The biggest canto in whole of Srimad Bhagavatam is 10th canto. Because it's amazing thing, when Parikshit was asking questions and Shukdev Maharaj was answering, towards the 4th day, actually the discussion went on for 7 days. Towards the 4th day, Krishna Leela started. Shukdev Maharaj was started explaining the glories of Krishna, the sweet nectarian pastimes of Krishna. The moment Krishna Leela started, Parikshit forgot that he is going to die within 7 days. He forgot that Takshaka, the snake, is waiting to bite him. He forgot everything and started asking more and more questions. What Krishna did at the age of 5? What he did at the age of 6? No, Shukdev Goswami, you didn't tell me what happened in between. What happened after that? Then what happened? The enthusiasm in which Parikshit was asking questions. Shukdev Maharaj said, Parikshit, your enthusiasm is amazing. that is inspiring me to speak more and more. So the beautiful 10th canto started growing into volumes. It has become the biggest canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, nectarian Leela. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Simply devotees sit and enjoy the pastimes of Krishna. We don't know how many times we might have discussed Krishna Leela, especially Krishna stealing butter, and Yashoda Maya tying him to a wooden mortar. How many hundreds of times we would have discussed this topic? Never got bored. You take any other topic, you start discussing a movie or a novel or some other material topic that happened today, COVID, how many days you will discuss? Even that disease, corona, people are bored now. Nobody is discussing that. But some 3 months back, morning to night, everyone was talking about corona. Now it's okay. People got used. It's bored. The topic is bored. Same way, any topic minus Krishna, any subject minus Krishna will become bored after some time. That is why this is very important. Even our family life minus Krishna will become bored after some time. Same family members you have been interacting with 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. That is why you don't see any bondage nowadays. But when we have Krishna in the center, then even the family becomes very sweet. Very sweet. A couple, they fought. And somehow things were not going well between them. And they decided to part away, get separated. So they decided to become separated then. It is something like they're supposed to come on a particular day and sign whatever divorce sheet or something like that. And they came, and it's like the judge said, this is a real thing which happened in Mumbai. The judge said, you can, take 2-3 months, think about it, then you can come. In the 3 months' time, this lady was going crazy, mad. Separated, and she started hating her own life. She started hating her personally, feeling so bad. Then some of her friend who's a ISKCON devotee guided her, why don't you just take up some course, So just for a distraction, she took up some course, I don't know, Nectar of Instruction, eShop, some course, milder course. She took a course. She's very new. But by then slowly she got interested in Krishna consciousness, start chanting 1 or twice, 2 rounds. The Krishna consciousness started giving some kind of relief to her. Then after 3 months, she went to sign the divorce paper. The husband also came. Then he saw this lady is wearing some kantimala around her neck. So he asked, what are you wearing? And she said, you don't ask all that. You came to sign the paper and get lost, Why are you asking all this questions? What does that make? What sense it makes for you? I'm not going to answer. She was very stubborn. She didn't answer. Then he asked, what are you wearing? But then she was not answering. She was not ready to answer. And this man, he said, look here. And he pulled and showed his kantimala. And she was like, what? Are you going to ISKCON? Then he said, yeah, I was going crazy. You were not there and everything was dry for me. So I started going to ISKCON. Then she said, I'm also going to ISKCON. Oh, really? And they started talking for, hours. Then they said, okay, why don't we give a try once more? Now they are beautiful couple with children in Mumbai preaching Krishna consciousness and serving Krishna. In this particular story, Krishna really became the center of the family, which is true in this material world. The wealth, health, and all this relationship we have in this world, if there is no binding point called Krishna, everything will become very dry, very dry. That's why we should have Krishna as the center of our family. So when the moment Parikshit brought Krishna, he forgot death. He overcame fear. He was not bothered that Takshaka was waiting for him and Takshaka would bite him. Completely forgotten. And in Ananda, he was experiencing the bliss of devotion, going on, asking question after question after question to Shukdev Maharaj. And Shukdev Maharaj said, your enthusiasm is inspiring to talk more. And that's how Bhagavatam manifested, the Dashamaskanda, the 10th canto of Bhagavatam manifested so beautifully. So please have Krishna in your life. Literally offer prasad and take prasad. Always stick on to prasad. Some once in a while we try something outside and slowly that deviates. Stick on to prasad. How much ever you are busy in your family, sit with your family members and chant Krishna's names. Sit with them and sing, do arati, a simple arati, 1 minute, 2 minutes arati. And all the family members, husband, wife, children, the wife, Mataji may do arati, husband may be singing, so children may be singing, maybe the children would do arati, jointly be together. That is very important. Jesus said this at supper. Whenever you are all taking supper, family members sit together and eat. Jesus made this a point that he will sit with his followers every day night and have supper, and he will be talking spiritual things. That's a, bhungte bhojayate chaiva. Sharing that love. You watch a movie, you read a novel, you see a drama and you like that. What you will do? You went to a new place and you like that show. You travel to some new place and you like that place. What you will do? Immediately you will call all the friends and relatives and say, I saw this, this is very nice. Why don't you try? I went to this place, that's amazing. Why don't you try? Happiness multiplies by sharing. So simple, it is a simple psychology. The family members sit together and they all chant Krishna's name and clap and sing. In this way, we may not realize the beautiful bondage between the family members increases. That makes a family meaningful. That's a jointly spent valuable time. Very important. And that is what we call a Krishna conscious family, right? So it's not like one person chanting half and another person not paying attention. That is not a Krishna conscious family. So here we are seeing the last chapter of the 3rd canto where it is like a pilot version of Dashamaskanda. And very important lesson, this is explained about Dwaraka, what things happened in Dwaraka. Dear devotees, what makes Vrindavan and Dwaraka? If you can think what all things will make Vrindavan, what and all you have seen in Vrindavan, please make a list, you will see what and all. Like peacocks, you must have seen a lot of peacocks in Vrindavan. Then what else? Monkeys, a lot of monkeys in Vrindavan. Devotees, many devotees in Vrindavan. then Kirtan, holy name, it's all about Krishna, right? There is one element. Can any one of you type in your chat box what is that element? You will be surprised. That is also part of Vrindavan, which nobody likes. Detrimental. Every year that thing keeps appearing again and again. Right when Krishna was 3 years old, that appeared in Vrindavan. If you know, you can type in your chat box. What is that? What all makes Vrindavan? Monkeys, peacocks, holy name, Kirtan, Prasad, temples, Krishna Leela, all this makes Vrindavan. And surprisingly, the demons also part of Vrindavan. Every year a demon appeared. Krishna was there for 10 years and every year there was either one or more demons were appearing again and again. Putana appeared when Krishna was just 3 months old baby. Trinavrita, Shakadasura, Agasura, Pralambasura, Dvivida, so many again and again and again. What does that mean? They simply represent dirt in our heart. We have to remove that so that our heart becomes Vrindavan. So here in Dwaraka, beautiful lesson. The Yadus, Vrishnis, all Krishna's dynasty. Krishna belonged to Yadu dynasty and Vrishni dynasty. They, because they were all Krishna's family members, they developed, especially the princely sons, the sons of Krishna, the sons of royal order. They developed a very, strong ego that no power in this world can check us. We are undefeatable. Nobody can obstruct us because we are Yadus. This ego. When we are blessed in this world, we should become very humble. When we gain knowledge, we should be humble. When we gain Bhakti Shastri, when we become materially rich, Krishna blesses us with money. Krishna blesses us with good family, knowledge, power, position, wealth. When Krishna is blessing us with all these things, we should be more and more humble. But what happens? We sometimes develop ego. So Yadus became very egoistic because we are Yadus, we are Vrishnis, and we are never defeated in these battles, in the war, and no king in the face of earth is dare to face us straight because we are Yadus. Like they became very egoistic. All the blessings in material life should bring humility. That is very important. And who is a beautiful, wonderful Vaishnava? The explanation is given, in Tamil, the Alvar said, Arivum Adakkamum, knowledge and self-composure, wisdom and humility. That is the real ornament, asset of a Vaishnava. Wisdom and humility. That decorates a Vaishnava and make him celebrated one, very special one, chosen one. Otherwise, it will simply fuel our ego. So one day the great rishis came to Dwaraka to meet Lord Krishna. The great rishis, the sages, they came, including Narada. And the sages are so powerful. Never think a spiritual person. Never take him for granted. A man who does tapasya. Tapasya and gyan are the wealth of sages. Austerity and knowledge, that's the wealth of sages. And we should never take them light. And if we hurt them, nature will act upon us. There are many, many stories. If you read Bhagavatam, Vena Chakravarti, Vena was simply killed by the mantras chanted by Brahmanas. Simply they chanted Brahmana mantras and killed that Vena, the king. Powerful sages, including Narada, they all came to Dwaraka to meet Lord Krishna. And these boys, they thought like, they are Yadus and they can do anything. So, Samba, the naughtiest son of Krishna, Krishna had many, many children, and Samba is considered to be the naughtiest one. Once he went to attend Duryodhana's daughter's wedding, Samba. That's why you can see people don't keep this name Samba. You can see devotees having names like Pradyumna, Aniruddha, but very rare to have Samba. Samba is like naughtiest son of Krishna. Once he went to attend the wedding of Duryodhana's daughter, and when the wedding was about to take place, he kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter and ran away. And so many things like that. Samba is very naughty. So all the boys, they dressed Samba, like a girl, a pregnant lady. And he also walked like a lady and went in front of the sages, and they asked him, "O great seers of truth, O great sages, visionary ones and the powerful ones, can you predict what baby will this lady deliver? A boy or a girl?" And the sages said, "She will deliver a curse on Yadu dynasty. She is not going to deliver a boy nor a girl. She will deliver curse on Yadu dynasty." That is why we should be very, very careful when we deal with devotees. Because Krishna is becoming a witness in that dealing, in that conversation. Lord becomes a witness. So we should be very attentive, very careful. We should pay respects. So they said, she will deliver a curse, and the curse will finish the whole of Yadu dynasty. And that became true. Krishna and Balaram standing back to back in Somnath, Veraval, Prabhas Tirtha, after this curse, killed with their own hands. Krishna and Balaram standing back to back, and like Sudarshan Chakra, they were rotating and killing all the Yadus. And that day Prabhas Tirtha turned red by blood. That's a curse by sages. Then they heard this curse, and the Samba and actually Samba became pregnant, and he delivered an iron mass. They don't know what to do. They ran and approached the elders of Dwaraka, and they all said, "What kind of madness have you done? You don't know whom to play with? What kind of pranks you have played against the sages? They have given everything in the service of Lord, Supreme Lord, and the Lord protects them. Don't play with them, and go and beg them and ask what can be done." Then the children, the royal princely orders, the Yadus, they all ran back to the sages and begged again and fed them prasad, gave them and touched their feet and this and all. And finally the sages became very calm. They said, "Okay, it's very difficult to get rid of this curse. You can do one thing. Somehow you grind that iron thing, grind and make it into powder and dissolve it in the ocean." And they tried. But every particle of that iron, it became a grass as sharp as a blade. The curse stayed back. They could not get rid of the curse. So very important. We should respect Vaishnavas, because we can never repay the debt what they have done. They must have served you prasad only once. Narada says in Purana, if somebody gives prasad once in your lifetime, you are eternally debted. We don't know. Keep going every Friday, and every Friday they served us prasad. You know how much we are debted? That 2-3 Prabhus, few Prabhus sitting on the back and packing for you every day, serving you. You know, even if you get prasad once, we are eternally debted. That's what Narada told to Lakshmi Devi. When Lakshmi Devi gave prasad to Narada only once, after waiting for 10,000 years. Devotees keep giving us prasad. Suppose we become sick, devotees come to our house and deliver prasad. And sometimes Matajis go back to India and the Prabhujis are alone. Devotees share prasad. How much we are debted to devotees. They remind us Krishna again and again and again. Purana says the first man who appeared in your life and talked about Krishna, Vartama Pradarshaka Guru, he was sent by Paramatma in our life. So the more we receive, we become recipient of the mercy of Supreme Lord, the more humble we should become. But sometimes devotees become very egoistic. And there's a beautiful story of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra struggled very hard to become Brahma Rishi. He was a king. He became very envious against Vasishta. Vasishta had a very special Kamadhenu cow. The cow can give any amount of food. And Vishwamitra became jealous of Kamadhenu. One day Vishwamitra went and they were very hungry. They have won a battle and they have come. They were very hungry. And the ministers said we can find an ashram there. And Vishwamitra said, what can we get from an ashram? Some sadhus will be living. Look at my army. Such a huge army is hungry and tired. What facilities can we get? Then they went and he saw many sadhus are praying and meditating, tapasya. Then they said, we will bring our master. And Vishwamitra waited. And an effulgent, glowing, brilliant Vasishta came. And Vishwamitra was deeply impressed seeing Vasishta. And Vasishta said, no worries. You all take bath, become fresh and come, I can serve you food. And Vishwamitra felt pity on Vasishta and said, no. Don't trouble yourself. I know you can't feed all of us because we are huge in numbers. Please don't worry, we will take care. But Vasishta compelled, said, don't worry, we will feed you. And Vishwamitra, they all sat down and Vasishta brought Kamadhenu. And Vasishta prayed to Kamadhenu. Right? And when Vasishta prayed to Kamadhenu, Kamadhenu started giving food, so much, they've never tasted anything in their life, unlimited, sumptuous. Immediately Vishwamitra became jealous on Vasishta. He said, give this cow to me. I need this cow more than you. I want to have it. Then, very beautiful line Vasishta said, King Vishwamitra, you don't realize what mistake you are doing. I am serving Kamadhenu, but you are trying to possess Kamadhenu. There is a difference between like and love. Buddha said, if you like a flower, you pluck that flower and use it for yourself. But you love a flower, you pour water to that plant. There is a difference between me and you, Vishwamitra. I serve Kamadhenu, that's why Kamadhenu is with me. You are trying to possess and make it yourself, it will never stay with you. But Vishwamitra didn't realize. He tried to take Kamadhenu forcefully, but he was defeated. Then he waged a war. Again he was defeated because Kamadhenu second time started producing soldiers. Then Vishwamitra became very jealous and he wanted to become a rishi like Vasishta. Then he became Raja Rishi, Brahma Rishi. It took a long time. Okay, anyway, we are not getting into the detail. I'll tell you a beautiful story of Vishwamitra. How Ahankar is. The more, I know many of you devotees, we are all wonderfully blessed by Krishna. What we don't have, we have wealth, we have very good family, good health. Krishna has given everything. Sometimes we don't deserve to have this. So this should bring a lot of humility in us. So Vishwamitra growing from one village, traveling, by the time he's already become Rajarshi, saint among the kings. And Vishwamitra was walking from one village to another. And he was very thirsty. Then he saw a lady fetching water from the well. He was very thirsty. In the middle of the village, a lady was drawing water from the well. So Vishwamitra went to her and said, "Oh great lady, I am feeling thirsty. Can you give me water?" Then the lady said, "Yeah, why not?" She served him water to drink, quench his thirst. And the lady asked, "I have not seen you, in this area. Who are you? Please reveal to me, oh great sir, who are you? I have not seen you in this area. Are you new to this village? Who are you?" Then he said, he thought, what is that? I'm not going to reveal my identity that I'm Vishwamitra to this some simple lady of a village. He said, "I'm just a traveler, my dear lady. I'm just a traveler. I'm traveling. I'm just a traveler." Then the lady said, "Oh great sir, by seeing you, I can understand that you are a very knowledgeable person. Please, sir, there are only two travelers in this world, sun and moon. Who are you?" There can be only two travelers. Only sun and moon are the travelers in this world. Who are you? And Vishwamitra was like taken aback. Wow, this lady is very intelligent. But still Vishwamitra was very proud. He said, "Okay, I'm guest of someone. I'm guest of someone." Then the lady said, "My dear sir, wealth and youth are the guest in a man's life." What a wonderful statement. Wealth and youth, they are the guest in somebody's life. They come and they disappear. We all like youth and then change over. Wealth also will leave us. Wealth and youth are the guests. So who are you? Then by this time Vishwamitra became little restless. What is this lady trying to corner me? So very adamantly Vishwamitra said, "I am adamant, I am not going to answer all your question." Right? Then the lady said, "If you speak about adamancy, only nail and hair in our body are adamant. Who are you? How much ever you chop your nail and cut your hair, they keep growing again and again and again. They are the most adamant in a human body. Who are you?" By the time Vishwamitra lost his temper and got angry, Vishwamitra said angrily, "I am a tolerant person. Don't check my tolerance." Then the lady said, "Oh great man, Mother Earth and tree, they are the most tolerant beings." That's what Lord Chaitanya also said. Trunadapi sunichena taroreva, tree and a grass. But here the lady said, Mother Earth and tree, the most tolerant ones. Because how much ever we torture Mother Earth, how much ever, then finally Vishwamitra lost his temper, this lady is too much. Then he said, "You don't know who I am? I am the great Vishwamitra, the Rajarshi. I am this, I am that." Then the lady said, "Please forgive me, my dear sir. The man who identifies himself with his body is fool. You are not this body." That's it. Vishwamitra was taken aback, blown apart. Then he fell at her feet and asked, "Who are you?" And she was Mother Saraswati, just to teach Vishwamitra how much humility is important for a person. Very important. Wisdom and humility are the real ornaments that can decorate a Vaishnava. So Yadus learnt a costly lesson. And finally all the Yadavas and the Vrishnis, they were completely... Anyway, in this shloka it is explained, after that curse, the Yadus and Vrishnis, they all gathered around the sages and said, please forgive us, please, unknowingly we committed this mistake, please, 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 please forgive us. Right? Then the sages said, okay. And sages gave a beautiful lesson. They said, you simply surrender to the supreme truth and live in connection with the supreme truth. Then even though there is a curse, you will not get completely affected by the curse. And they said, go and meet the elders of Yadu family and ask them what you can do. So on the other hand, you can see the sages, they became immediately satisfied. Please, this is another quality of Vaishnava. He doesn't register, somebody, and sometimes we see devotees, Prabhuji on that 2 years back, on the Janmashtami day that we are having a hall program and this man told me this, I am not going to forget this in my lifetime. This is also not good for a Vaishnava. Forgiving and forgetting. This is very important. The sages immediately became happy, They casted a curse because you can't curse them with a joyful mood. Only when you are deeply disturbed, then only the curse will come. But the moment they came and begged sorry and things like that, immediately the sages became calm. What a wonderful personality. They had an innocent heart like babies. This is what real sadhus are. When you see all the great Parama Acharyas, they're like babies. Because of that purity and innocence, they were able to capture Krishna in their heart. Immediately the sages became so happy and they started giving them remedies, do this, do that, and like this, like that. And the Yadus, they all went and ran and started finding solution. So, there are 2-3 lessons in this verse. One is ego. We should never become so egoistic. Krishna has given a lot of blessings. We shouldn't be egoistic. And the second, never take Vaishnavas for granted. They're very close to Krishna, very dear to Krishna. Sometimes devotees may have mistakes. Don't think everybody is 100% perfect. They might have mistakes. They may have mistakes. When Krishna is ready to forgive and forgo, who are we to point it out? Krishna on the way, he accepts them and slowly there is an Alvar. I don't know, I forgot the name, maybe Tondaradi Podi Alvar, some Alvar. The Alvar wanted to go and meet a prostitute. See the story? Krishna gave his own ornaments and sent that Alvar to meet the prostitute. That much importance Krishna is giving to devotees. That doesn't mean we have to do the same thing like that, but devotees are very, very dear to Krishna. And you all have taken up this Krishna conscious process. Each and every one of you are very dear. In Varaha Purana, there is a shloka where Krishna says, if by chance my devotee due to ill health and disturbance forgets my name and form at the time of his death, I will remember him and deliver him back to Vaikuntha. It's an amazing shloka from Varaha Purana. So you are all very special ones, chosen ones and the blessed ones in Krishna's family. Please take this seriously and make your life very, very successful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.